Okay, so have you ever like poured your heart into a text and then like crickets? Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
It's brutal. It's like the worst. So we're gonna deep dive into this piece about what to do when someone goes silent on you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but we're not just talking like dating advice here. We're gonna go deeper. We're gonna look at like the whole psychology of scarcity and self-worth.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's deep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
But you know, the source, it really like captures that initial you know that feeling when you're like obsessively checking your phone
Oh, yeah.
and you're like crafting the perfect follow-up text
Totally.
and then you get like a one-word answer or nothing.
It's the worst.
It's like, ugh, makes you want to throw your phone out the window.
I know, it's almost like a rejection, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And the source actually says their silence is an answer. Like, I kind of want to like push back on that a little. Like, what if there is a legitimate reason?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it always that simple?
Yeah, I mean, there could be reasons,
Mhm.
like emergencies, things happen.
Right.
But, I mean, the source does make a good point that it is, like, so easy to just send a quick text.
Oh, totally.
It-
Especially these days. Like, come on.
Yeah, if you're interested, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
I'll make the time.
You'll make the time. So, okay, let's say we accept this idea that their silence is speaking volumes.
Okay.
Get this. The source then says, pull back even harder.
Really?
Isn't that counterintuitive?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be like fighting for their attention, like, you know, grand romantic gestures?
Yeah, exactly. Like, shouldn't we be, like, showing them how much we care?
Right. Like that's what they do in the movies.
Exactly. All the rom-coms.
But the source is saying that's like the opposite of what we should do. So like, are we confirming their decision to like ghost us?
Interesting.
Like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm not worth your time.
Yeah. I mean, because when you chase after someone, it does kind of, it almost makes it seem like you're desperate, right?
Right.
Yeah, and the source uses this really cool analogy about economics. They're saying that the more available you are, the less valuable you are.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
Like supply and demand.
Exactly. And that ties into this thing called the scarcity principle,
Okay.
which is basically like this psychological principle
Right.
that says we value things that are harder to get,
Okay.
whether that's a limited edition item or someone's attention.
So playing hard to get has like scientific backing?
Yeah,
But isn't that manipulation though?
I know. That's a fair
Well,
point.
yeah.
But the source really makes it clear that it's not about manipulation. It's about knowing your worth.
Okay.
Right? Not chasing someone who's not giving you that same energy back.
So it's less about like playing games and more about recognizing your own value.
Exactly. It's shifting the focus from how do I get them to like me
Yeah.
to do they deserve my time and energy.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one.
Right.
That's a good reframe. Okay, so, but what happens when, as the source claims they often do, they come crawling back?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, what then?
Like, you know, slide into your DMs like nothing happened. Maybe a lame excuse.
Yeah.
What do we do?
That's where boundaries are super important. And the source gives this great example of what to say. They actually say that you should say something like, I don't appreciate being left hanging.
Right. If we're going to continue talking, I expect mutual respect.
Exactly.
Boom, mic drop.
It's clear, it's assertive,
Yeah.
but it's not like aggressive.
Right. And it's not just about dating, right?
No.
The source makes this point that like this is about all relationships.
Yeah. Friendships, work, everything.
Yeah, like you are the prize. You don't need to chase anyone.
It's a good reminder.
So are you ready to dive even deeper into this idea of self-worth?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's unpack this. Like, how can this actually help us
Okay.
in dating and just in life? Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so we've been talking about this whole like scarcity principle in dating, but I'm kind of curious how this plays out in other areas of life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, you know, in our careers or friendships.
Yeah.
Like, does this apply there too?
It's everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, like think about it. Like, have you ever noticed how a job offer suddenly seems way more appealing when you've got like other options on the table?
Yeah, that's true. Or like how much you value a friend when they're not around as much.
Exactly. It's like when you're not even looking for a job, every recruiter is like sliding into your DMs.
Yes, it's so true. Or how when you're like feeling confident and happy, suddenly everyone wants to be your BFF.
Right. Like it's that scarcity principle. Like when we see something as easily replaceable, we take it for granted.
Right.
But then as soon as it becomes less available, suddenly we're like, oh, wait a minute.
It's like we want what we can't have.
Totally.
This reminds me of something the source mentioned about expert, like consultants.
Oh, yeah.
They were saying that the most sought after consultants, they don't chase clients.
Right.
They focus on becoming like the go-to person in their niche, making their time and knowledge scarce and therefore super valuable.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. They're basically creating scarcity, which drives up their value.
So are we saying that we should like be less available in all areas of our lives?
I think it's more nuanced than that. It's not about being manipulative. It's about, recognizing your worth.
Okay.
Setting boundaries, investing in yourself.
Okay.
Right. Building a life that is so fulfilling and engaging that people are naturally drawn to you.
So instead of like chasing validation from others, we should focus on building our own self-worth.
Yes, exactly. Like create a life that you love.
It's like saying, hey world, this is me, take it or leave it.
Yeah. And then you attract the people who are like actually right for you. The people who vibe with that.
Who appreciate you for you.
Exactly.
Not for what you can do for them.
Yeah, no, not the people who are just looking for something from you.
This makes me think about all the times I've like bent over backwards for friends or partners.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
Only to end up like feeling resentful.
Totally. It's so easy to fall into that trap, especially if you're coming from a place of like scarcity,
Right. It's like we have to constantly earn their love.
Yeah, like you're not good enough unless you're like doing all these things for them.
Right, exactly.
But, healthy relationships are built on reciprocity, mutual respect.
Yeah, but it's hard when you have that fear of like, if I don't do this, they're gonna leave.
Right. And that's what we're trying to break free from.
Yeah.
Because when you overextend yourself, you're basically teaching people that it's okay to take you for granted.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Right? You're kind of setting yourself up for that.
But what about those like lingering fears? What if pulling back actually does push people away?
Yeah, scary to think about.
Like, what if they don't come back crawling?
I think that's where the real test of self-worth comes in.
Okay.
Because the source is basically saying, if someone is willing to walk away that easily, were they really that invested in the first place?
So it's like a filter.
Exactly. It might hurt in the short term, but it can be so freeing in the long run.
Yeah, it's like dodging a bullet almost.
Right. And it's not about shutting down emotionally or becoming like completely unavailable.
Right.
It's about prioritizing your well-being.
Okay.
Shifting the focus inward.
So like self-care, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like cultivating self-love, abundance, and then that radiates outward.
Okay, I'm really digging this. But like, how do we actually do this? Like, how do we cultivate that unshakable sense of self-worth?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right?
And I think one thing that can be really powerful is to like focus on your strengths.
Yeah.
Your accomplishments.
Okay.
Like make a list of everything you're good at.
Okay.
All the things you're proud of.
Like a hype file?
Exactly. Remind yourself of your value.
Celebrate your awesomeness.
Yes. And it's not about being arrogant.
No.
It's about acknowledging your strengths.
Right.
And knowing that you were worthy.
Worthy of love, respect.
Yes. Just as you are.
This is so empowering. It's like we're flipping the script.
Totally.
Instead of chasing, we're choosing to define our own worth.
Yeah. And then you attract the people who are like aligned with that.
And the source doesn't like sugarcoat things. They talk about the potential pain.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not always easy.
Of like pulling back.
Right.
And that possibility that like the other person might not come back.
Yeah, it's a risk.
That's scary.
But it's also like a huge test of self-worth.
Right.
Can you face that rejection and know that you're still worthy?
Wow. Okay. That's deep. So it's not about manipulating them.
No.
It's about recognizing our own worth.
Yes. And protecting it.
This is such a like mind shift. Okay, so we've talked about pulling back and self-worth.
Yeah.
What happens when they do come back?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because the source actually gives us like a playbook.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They have some good advice for that.
Okay, so like they come back
Yeah.
after the silent treatment.
It's tempting to like just be so relieved
Right.
that you just welcome them back.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Especially if you've been like feeling vulnerable
Exactly.
But like they ghosted us.
Yeah, and that can't just be ignored.
Right. So we shouldn't just be like, oh, hey, welcome back. No big deal.
No, I think it's important to address it.
Right. Okay. So this is where we have that like boundary conversation.
Right. And the source actually gives some really good advice on how to do that.
Okay. So like, what do we say?
Well, they suggest saying something like, hey, I noticed you kind of went silent there for a bit.
Okay.
And that didn't feel good.
Right.
So if we're going to move forward, I need to know that you respect my time.
Okay. Yeah. Like I have feelings.
Yeah.
And you need to respect that.
Exactly. Like you have to be clear about your expectations.
Okay. And we should do that like calmly.
Yes.
Not like get all angry.
No, not accusatory.
Okay. Just like these are my needs.
Exactly. Just stating your needs. And if they're really interested in having a healthy relationship with you, they'll be receptive to that.
Okay. Yeah. But what if they get defensive?
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
Like they make excuses.
Yeah.
Or they try to downplay it.
Yeah, I think at that point you have to trust your gut.
Okay.
You know, are they really apologetic?
Right? Do they get it?
Yeah. Do they understand?
And if not, we walk away.
I think so. I think you have to be willing to walk away.
Wow. Okay. It's like we're taking control.
Yeah, you are.
Setting a new standard.
Exactly.
This is so awesome.
And you know what I find really interesting about this? It's not just about protecting yourself.
Okay.
It's also about creating space for like a real connection.
Okay. How so?
Well, when you set boundaries, you're basically challenging the other person to like step up,
Oh, interesting.
right? To meet you at that level.
So it's like we're giving them a chance to rise to the occasion.
Exactly. And if they do, then the relationship can actually become even stronger,
Ooh, I like that.
right?
Okay, so it's not about games.
Yeah.
It's about genuine connection.
Yes. Authentic. Respect it.
Oh, this is so cool. But you know, it's like you said, it's one thing to understand it.
Yeah.
It's another to actually do it.
Absolutely. It's a process.
Right.
Yeah.
So the source, they really emphasize like knowing your worth and not settling.
Yes. That is so important.
Yeah, but that can be hard.
It is. It's so easy to slip back into old patterns.
Especially when you're feeling insecure.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's really important to develop that strong inner compass
Okay.
so you can stay true to yourself.
So like, what does that look like?
Well, I think it's helpful to like create a personal manifesto.
Okay.
You know, like what are your non-negotiables in relationships, in life,
Okay.
like respect, honesty.
Yeah. Those core values.
Exactly. And then you hold yourself accountable.
And others accountable.
Yes. Because if you compromise on those, you're basically saying it's okay to treat me this way.
Right, yeah. It's
Right.
like we're teaching them how to treat us.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So we have the power.
You do. You have the power to choose.
I'm feeling empowered
Good.
to set boundaries.
Yes.
Embrace my worth.
Yeah.
Create a life that like I love.
That's amazing. That's what it's all about.
This is so great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This has been like eye-opening.
I'm so glad.
This whole conversation. I'm so grateful for like this deep dive
Me too.
into all of this.
That's been great.
And you know, to everyone listening, remember, you are worthy
Yes, you are.
of love
Yeah.
and happiness.
And don't settle.
Don't settle. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.